I need some support. What's up, VIPs? Derek here, back with another video, and today I'm reaching out to talk to my sighted supporters. I figured I've done a few videos talking about losing your sight from the perspective of the visually impaired person, and what I want this channel and my whole website to be about is helping those individuals and families who are going through physical sight loss to help discover life after sight loss. That means for the person losing their sight and for the people that are affected by it, known as the sighted supporters. Now let me explain what I mean by a sighted supporter. A sighted supporter is not a stranger that lives down the street who happens to know you and heard about the fact that you're losing your sight. No, a sighted supporter is somebody whose life is directly affected by the fact that you're losing your sight. So for example, a spouse of someone, a child, a parent, a very, very close friend, a person who interacts with you on a regular basis, not just someone you met in the airport or something like that, a person whose life is directly affected by you, the visually impaired person, losing their sight. I want to reach out to the sighted supporter today. So if you're watching this and you are a sighted supporter, then this one's for you. And if you're watching this as a VIP, make sure to bring in your spouse or friend or whomever into the room and say, hey, you really need to watch this because they're going to talk some good stuff today. So this one's for the sighted supporter, and what I want to talk about today are a few things that a sighted supporter may feel but are too uncomfortable to talk about out loud. Now, I know this might sound weird, but it'll make sense as we get into it. So many times when something like this happens, something tragic like sight loss happens, the person who are adjacent, the sighted supporter, they have feelings and emotions and all these sort of things, but they don't talk about them a lot because it might sound bad or it might be viewed in a weird way, and they don't want to take, be a distraction away from the person who's losing their sight because they're losing their sight. They're going through something really bad, but they have feelings nonetheless. So if you are a sighted supporter, you might have these feelings and you might not be able to express them, but I want to go ahead and start off, give you permission to talk about them. As we go through them, just know that it's okay to feel them, it's okay to express them, and hopefully through this, you'll get a little bit of a burst of energy or a burst of permission to say, yep, let's talk about it. All right, so the first thing that people who are sighted supporters may feel but not want to talk about, they have anger. Anger is an emotion that we all feel from time to time. Some of us deal with it in productive ways, some of us not so productive, but anger is something we all feel. Now, a sighted supporter may feel angry because the person in their life is losing their sight. Just like the person losing their sight may feel anger, the person who is the sighted supporter might feel angry as well. They feel angry that the person has to go through something. They feel angry that their life is going to change. They feel angry, but sometimes they don't want to admit that because it might sound like they're angry at the person losing their sight. Like,
how dare you lose your sight?
That's not the case. They're not angry at the person. They're angry at the situation. Just like the visually impaired person probably is angry as well. So if you're a sighted supporter and you're feeling angry, that's perfectly normal. It's perfectly okay to feel angry and to express it and talk about it. It's important to get it out because trust me, anger tends to come out regardless of when and how you expect it to. It will come out, and sometimes it's, good, and sometimes it's not so good. So the first thing you might feel that you might not want to express is anger. The second thing you might feel but not want to express is annoyance. Now, I know this one might seem a little odd, but think about it. It's easy to get annoyed when you have to be the person always looking out for everything. So you've got to be the one to read anything that comes on the TV. You've got to read the menu when you go to a restaurant. You've got to remind the visually impaired person that they left something out on the counter in case they forget it, because trust me, out of sight, out of mind is a real thing. You've got to be the person to make sure they don't step off the curb. You've got to be the person to fill in the blank. I mean, you've got to be the person to do all this all the time, and it can get really annoying. Now, I know that who wants to say, I'm really annoyed when I have to help my spouse because they lost their sight? That sounds horrible, doesn't it? Like,
what kind of person are you? That is terrible.
But the point is, it gets annoying. Now, from a VIP perspective, I will tell you this, it does get annoying. Not annoying from your point, annoying from our point. Having somebody else read the menu, having somebody else tell us what's on the TV, having somebody else drive us, it gets annoying. It gets old, I understand. And I'm sure it gets annoying from your standpoint as well. So I'm not suggesting you go around and say, hey, you're annoying me having to read this for you. I mean, you're gonna have to do it. You're a sighted person, you're a sighted supporter, but it's understandable that you get annoyed sometimes, and it's okay. Just don't hit anybody when you're annoyed. Don't do that. And the third thing you might feel but aren't comfortable expressing is anxiety. Listen, everybody gets anxious from time to time, and especially in a situation like this, because it can cause anxiety. I mean, face it, your life as you knew it is over. I don't mean your life is over. I mean your life as you knew it, because now you're gonna have to take over transportation. You're gonna be the sole transportation if you're the spouse or something, or if you're a really close friend who's to somebody who's not married or something like that. You're gonna have to be the person who is making plans far more than the visually impaired person. Not because they can't make plans, but because you tend to default to that. You're gonna have to be the person who gets the default on a lot of things. Maybe it's defaulting to paying the bills or checking the mail or whatever things. Again, visually impaired people can do all these things, but it seems to default to the sighted supporter, and that can be really anxiety filled. But we don't want to say as a sighted supporter, I'm feeling very anxious. What do you mean? Shouldn't you help people? It's like, calm down. Yeah, we all feel anxious, and it's okay to admit that. It's okay. The reason that sighted supporters typically don't want to mention that they're angry or annoyed or feeling anxious is because they feel guilty. They feel guilty. They think people are going to look at them like, how dare you feel that way? Your spouse is losing their sight, or your child is losing their sight. That's horrible. Look, everybody has the feelings, and it's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay to express it and talk about it. In fact, I think it's really important. So if you're a sighted supporter and you're feeling any of these things, I give you permission. Just feel that way, express it, and move forward. Don't let guilt control your life. I know this gets a little deep in things, but don't let it control your life. Trust me, your life is changing just as much as the visually impaired person, so don't let it take you down a path where you're not willing to talk about it ever. So if you're a sighted supporter and you feel any of these things or others, I want to hear about it. Leave it in the comments below and let me know, what do you feel and how do you deal with it? Because I really would love to hear about it. That's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Again, if you like what you heard today, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you're a sighted supporter, hey, high five to you, my friends. You're awesome. Until next time, my name is Derek, and I will see you in the next video.